Good evening, guys. This is Motegi from watchandtime.com. Tonight we're going to be taking a look at the third generation design from Tempest Watches called the Carbon. This is a watch that I was given exclusive access to by Ben from Tempest for the purposes of taking photographs and making a video for his Kickstarter campaign. So this is actually one of the prototypes. This is not an actual production model. But I just want to take a closer look at this and kind of go over some of the features and things that are on this watch. For comparison's sake, I've also brought two of his previous designs. The first generation design here, which is the Viking watch, as well as his second generation design, which is the Commodore titanium watch. So today we're going to be taking a look at the three and comparing the differences between them. Alright, so first let's take a look at the Tempest Carbon itself. Now, just as the name sounds, this watch is produced out of 100% carbon over a stainless steel core. The carbon that Tempest uses for this watch is called forged carbon. Now this is different from the other types of carbon that you may have seen, like carbon fiber or carbon reinforced plastic. What forged carbon is carbon fibers which are compressed with a resin under high heat and high temperature to produce this extremely light yet extremely strong material. Now you may have seen other watches that are made out of forged carbon, but what's astounding is Tempest has been able to produce this watch at a price point of under $1,000. The other forged carbon watches that you'll see cost upwards of $10,000 or more. So really this is a groundbreaking watch in its category. So going into the measurements of this watch, the watch is mid-sized at 43 millimeters in diameter. It's only 14.75 millimeters in thickness, and some of that is because of the domed crystal. The watch has 200 meters of water resistance, has a screw-down crown. It comes on a nylon strap that measures 22 millimeters at the case. It's a nice padded woven nylon waterproof strap, and it measures about 20 millimeters at the end, and it has a brushed PVD finished buckle. The strap has a inner leather lining. You'll see on the case back that it pays respect to the element of carbon from which the case is constructed. You can kind of see it mimics the periodic table diagram for carbon itself, and has some of the features of the watch listed around it. I think that's kind of an interesting touch that they added. Overall, because of the nylon strap and the forged carbon, this is an extremely light watch. Let's get a measurement on it here, just to show you. You can see it measures only 82.9 grams with the strap. So that's extremely light for any watch. And a lot of that's, again, thanks to the materials that Tempest used to produce this watch. Now, getting a closer picture of the dial here, it's kind of difficult because of the reflections on the dome crystal, but you'll see that it has individually applied hour markers at all the hour positions, as well as a sloped outer chapter ring with individual minute or second markings. The hands are very high contrast hands. Let me get a better focus on it here. You can see that they've chosen to accent the minute hand as well as the constant running seconds hand in orange outline. I really like the kind of the stark orange, white, and black coloration of the dial. It really is very legible in almost any light condition. So I think that was definitely a great choice on their part. All of the dial markers as well as the hands are coated in BGW9 Swiss Luminova. This is a prototype version, and the seconds hand is not luminous on this one, but the production versions, Tempest says, will have luminous seconds hand as well. I'll have a LUME shot of this prototype watch on this video for you to look at. Comparing with some of his other previous watches, the first design from Tempest was the Viking. The Viking was really a groundbreaking design. It's a large, heavy watch. It's 316L stainless steel. It's 45 millimeters in diameter. Has a really, thick, chunky bezel with a really pronounced gear-shaped pattern. This watch weighs 276 grams. So, compared to the 80-something grams of the carbon, you can see that there's a huge difference, which is pretty amazing when you look across the line and the variety that Ben at Tempest has been able to design. Looking at them from the side, you can see that there's quite a difference in thickness. The Viking measures 17 millimeters in thickness, where the carbon is less than 15. The Viking is also available with a domed sapphire crystal. My version has the flat crystal instead. You can see that the carbon does not have any sort of diver's bezel. He went with a forged carbon non-rotating bezel on this design. Both of them feature screw-down crowns. Both of them have the same Miyota movement. The Viking has a C3 superluminova as opposed to the BGW9 on the carbon. All right, next up for comparison is going to be the second generation design from Tempest Watches. It's the Commodore watch that was actually just released a few weeks ago after being on pre-order for several months. The Commodore is actually a very lightweight watch on its own because it's entirely made out of grade 2 titanium. The Commodore weighs only 143.6 grams and is a 44.5 millimeter diameter watch, so it's still considerably larger than the carbon, as you can see. The Commodore features a unidirectional diver's bezel, has a ceramic insert. Also, some unique things about the Commodore are its sandwich dial. This particular one, the white dial version, is a full LUME dial. The other colored dials actually have LUME in the cutout portions. Both of these are powered by the same Miyota 9015 movement. In my testing on my time grapher, I found that the 9015 can produce some really great results, especially when regulated properly. As far as the case thickness is concerned, the Commodore is slightly thinner than the carbon at only 14.65 millimeters. But I think a lot of that is because of the dome crystal on the carbon making the difference. So as you can see on the Commodore, it comes with micro-adjustable ratcheting clasp, which is a nice touch. It's the same type of clasp that they used on the Viking as well. You're going to see the carbon definitely feels extremely light, especially because of the nylon strap, the lightweight case, and kind of the smaller case size, as opposed to the Viking, which is really kind of that heavy, chunky indie diver type of look. Now moving on to the Commodore, which I haven't yet sized for my wrist, since it really is still pretty new. You know, it's a slightly smaller case. It's still very lightweight, but really doesn't compare to the lightweight of the forged carbon. So overall, with this latest design from Tempest, the Carbon, I must say I'm very impressed. I really like the high contrast dial with the large applied hour markers and the different hand colors against the dial. Obviously, to be able to produce a forged carbon watch for under $1,000 is phenomenal in comparison to the other forged carbon pieces on the market. The lightweight is definitely really astounding when you first put it on the wrist. I do like the Miyota 9015 automatic movement that he's used. I have it in several other timepieces and have found it to be very reliable and accurate. The nylon strap feels very sturdy. It's well padded. Feels like it'll last a long time. But overall, you know, when you look at the breadth of design that's coming from Tempest, I'm very impressed that he's been able to produce such a different design with each generation. So, you know, I think at the Kickstarter price, I think this is definitely a real bargain. And I look forward to the 4th generation watch, which hopefully we'll be seeing here in the next year or so. All right, well, thanks for watching. Again, this is Motegi from watchintime.com. Join us on our forum for more watch reviews and sneak peeks.